Isn't their haircut just kind of like Moe's, Dwight's cousin?
Dude, I promise you, these guys are going to the barber and saying, "Give me the Khabib." Like,
they do look a bit like Moe's now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
Running around their own little farms.
You know, he's one of the main writers of the show as well.
Is he? He's very funny.
Yeah, he's more of a creator actually. I think he went on and did what's the one with Amy Poehler, Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec was supposed to be like a spin-off. It was supposed to be very much more like The Office than it ended up being.
Parks and Rec is very similar to The Office, obviously, because it's mockumentary style. It's just not, and it's still a fine show. It's just not nearly as good.
It's not as good. It's not as well written. You can tell that like they fired their Jim the first season in Parks and Rec, right? You know that Mark.
Yeah, the guy who wants to bang
everybody.
Rashida Jones. That's her name, right?
Yeah, I like Rashida Jones. Very exotic. Was your father a GI?
Was that what he said?
That's how Michael Scott greeted her. Oh, you look very exotic. Was your father a GI? And she's like, just so offended.
I thought she was just tan.
Did you?
Honestly, like I thought she was just like a tan, Spanish shirt. Spanish is in like from Spain, like, or Italian or something.
I think she's some sort of very exotic mix of maybe South Pacific Asian and like Italian or something like that.
I don't know, but she's cute. When the first time I watched through The Office many years ago and I saw that Jim had her, I was like, why the fuck are you interested in this Pam bitch? Look, like what Pam's not any more or less funny than Anne.
There's an episode where Jim employs who's the fat guy? I'm spacing
Kevin.
Kevin to go like make a list of pros and cons between the two women, and he's only half joking. It's Karen is the better woman in every regard almost. Mm-hmm. Jim should have chosen Karen. I would have chosen Karen. I'd have said fuck you, Pam, and left her in her little shitty town of Scranton. I'd go into Manhattan with Karen, and we'd have worked at fucking corporate, and maybe we'd have turned the whole company around. We wouldn't have had to sold to some Korean printer company led by Kathy Bates over there. I think things would have gone much better for everyone. Fuck Pam. Pam is shit. If you look at Pam's relationship before Jim when she was with Roy, she was such a negative void, a black hole, a personality-less just chasm that she held Roy down to the point as soon as Roy got past Pam, he like exploded. Like every aspect of him improved. Mm-hmm. He became a rich businessman with a full life, a wife, and he became a piano player, a talented piano player, like just on a lark.
It is
as like a wedding gift. Meanwhile, like Pam's over there stuffing cheese into her fucking mouth.
Pam, you bitch.
What did Pam actually do that made you just like? Okay, I know that Roy did better after he broke up, but that's
so. Let's talk about how shitty Pam was to Roy in their relationship with her, like with her fucking wildly inappropriate relationship with Jim. Like she's way too flirtatious with Jim. She's even talked to her mother about how like she's got a thing for Jim because when her mother comes, the mother's like, "So which one's Jim? Giggle, giggle, giggle." And Jim's like right there, like, "Oh."
And she is engaged at this point.
She's engaged. Yeah, absolutely. So she kisses Jim. She has 2 or 3 drinks at Chili's, and then like kisses Jim on the lips after her fiance has gone home because he needs to sleep for work. So
she's a bit of a whore. That's true.
She's a bit of a whore. Okay. She's also has zero talent at any fucking thing.
Art encouraged Jim to steal Roy's fiance. I always thought that was shitty, and no one really gave him a hard time about it.
He was shooting his best shot, and I'm okay with that because she was reciprocating, and he seemed to be shitty. So I'm okay with everything Jim did. Pam is the problem in this relationship. She's the one who took a vow. She's the one wearing a ring. She's the one who knows fucking Roy. Jim's sitting over there next to her all the time. This girl's flirting with him. He's flirting back. He likes her. What's he gonna do? I got no problem with Jim. But my problem with Pam is she's a fucking loser. Her thing is art. Like even her greatest art piece up there that's hung on the wall, like Dwight's like the shadows are all wrong. What are there, 2 suns? What are you in the Andromeda galaxy? I don't think so. She failed out of art school because she can't.
That was a successful show. She sold some paintings.
No, never. She sold one to Michael Scott, and we don't even know how much she paid.
That's the one.
She probably gave it to him for free. She failed out of art school after spending weeks and months damaging her relationship, like clearly with Jim, like leaving him back home to work. Then she's failed out of art school. Then her next career move is to defraud her business place with literal fraud. She forges documents and essentially bullies a superior into forging documents to make her a made up position within the company with a salary that she came up with because she thought it would slide under the gaze of. She even tested it with Oscar from accounting. He's like, "What do you make?" He's like, 60,000. 60? 45. Oh, okay. Like she literally makes sure that she's going to be able to commit fraud without like raising too many alarms.
I haven't got to this part again yet. I don't remember that.
It's a fraudulent position. She's the office manager. She only ever she like orders pins and placards for everyone. That's what she's making like 45, 50 grand a year for. She is defrauding the office.
You're right. You texted me the other day because I was like, I'm rewatching The Office. I know it's your favorite show all time, pretty much. And you're like, I'm a Pam hater. I'm like, oh, I didn't give her that much thought. But
she's also the worst salesman in The Office. She's a salesman for a period of time, and doesn't she not sell anything?
Fails at it. 2 sales, 2 or 3.
She'll never be an assassin.
Yeah, she and Ryan bad at sales. I think Ryan's character arc is like him as an actor. He doesn't make me laugh much. I get he's supposed to be like a semi-straight man, so he's not going to be the impetus.
Pam gets worse though. I'm not done with her.
But Pam even worse. I was going to say Ryan's like through line is actually funny though. Like getting to the high level of corporate, and being exposed for like cheating on the online sales records.
Did you know that actor's not just an actor on the show?
That's right.
Yeah,
he's the
like
writer, director, and executive producer on that show.
Yeah,
because when I watched that when I was younger, I always wondered like, all right, why do they have Dwight, Michael, Jim, and Pam in the intro, and then the random intern like also in there? It's like, oh, it's because he's, I guess, he's
everybody's boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pam was unsupportive of Jim when he was trying to expand his business in Philly. Even though he had been there just waiting as long as she needed when she was at art school, partying, drunk with her like chubby New York quasi boyfriend and associates.
The guy from Mad Men. Yep.
The guy from Mad Men, a show that I've never seen. Yeah, it's Pam's shitty. Pam was always shitty. She wasn't cute past season 2. And Jim at one point was dating Amy Adams. Remember that? There was a season where Amy Adams came into the office and was selling purses. And he went and asked her out and dated her. And then he broke up with her really shittily on the booze cruise.
I think Jim and Pam deserve each other.
Really? I'm a big fan of Jim.
Like Jim, like he's
huge Jim guy.
He's fun. But
I love his devotion to the prank. One of my favorite pranks is when he tried to convince Dwight that he had always been an Asian man.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Like an Asian man comes in and sits down, and everyone greets him as Jim, and Dwight's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What do you mean, Dwight?" And like Dwight looks at the picture of Jim and his family that's always been on the desk, and now it's an Asian Jim. and then Pam comes over and kisses Asian Jim on the mouth. And Dwight is just like, thinks he's in a parallel universe where Jim has always been Asian now. You know, he's apt to believe that sort of thing. There's a deleted scene. It's from the finale where they get the old black man who does security to pretend like he is Morpheus's brother, Orpheus. And he literally gives Dwight the red pill, blue pill thing. They convince Dwight that he's in the Matrix. They have they train a cat to walk by like twice or something like that. And they hire twins from like the shipping department or something like that to to keep walking past, and Dwight believes he's in the Matrix.
I don't have nearly the experience with The Office that you do, but I'm like watching it in the background and also paying some attention.
Are you watching on Peacock?
No, I don't remember what service I'm watching it on, but
I'll say this: whenever you go through it, like if you really do enjoy it on Peacock, and I'm sure we could get it on Plex, they have the extended versions of every episode, and they take these episodes and add like 10 or 15 minutes to every single one.
Really?
And most of the bits are good. Sometimes you're like, man, this episode is like 45 minutes long. Like they added, so it's a little bit like Lord of the Rings. If you're really a fan, you're like, okay, I know why they cut that, but I'm glad I get to see it because there's lots of extra jokes. It's a lot meaner and a lot more biting, and the language is a little more coarse. Like
I laughed a lot. Like I've been rewatching it, and I laughed a lot at this scene where Michael goes into the conference room, and I saw bloopers of it on YouTube after the fact, where Michael goes in, and he's like, Phyllis, we all came in here and gave you a golden shower for your wedding. Where's my golden shower? And it's like, it's sincerely very, very funny. And it's like, I forgot how good and crisp the writing was at times on the Office. And clearly there's a lot of improv on it as well, which, you know, I like that in shows when you can tell that an improv bit made its way, you know, past the finish line. And
I watch, I like to watch it sometimes in batches. So I watch all the Christmas episodes, the season where, or the episode where Michael wants to be Santa, but Phyllis has like, she asked 6 months ago or something, got triple approval. She has it certified. She's cleared it with everyone. And she's always wanted to be Santa. And Michael can't fucking stand that he's not the center of attention. So he comes out and he's like, don't waste your time with old tranny claws over there. Come and sit on the real deal's lap. Sit on my lap, there will be no doubt. And they're like,
I don't know. No one's ever asked me to sit on their lap before. And Kevin gets on his lap.
Kevin sits on his lap and hurts him. But then Michael decides that that's not good enough, that he's got to one up her. So he dresses as Jesus Christ. He comes out as Jesus Christ. I think that's the episode where he also got like, I think Daryl told him like, that's inappropriate, Mike. You can't be doing that. And he dressed up as Daryl. And so he's got like a black afro wig on. He's got one of those blue button-up shirts with your name on it or whatever. And you can tell he was gonna do blackface because if you look behind his right ear, you could tell where he started, and then since the blackface was a bad idea, he comes up, hey, yo, I'm Daryl or whatever.
Really, that's so funny.
I needed it. It would have been a little more hardcore if you come out in the blackface.
Do you think that like the real life person backed out of blackface?
My
that's
guess
part of the
is
story.
that there's like a dab of it is almost better than blackface.
Yeah,
like blackface would have been a little distasteful. Although that is Michael, like his thing. If you remember it's either the first or second episode of the first season where he has everybody wearing like racial stereotype cards on their heads, and and I think Kelly, who's Indian, has Indian.
No, it's Stanley who's black.
Give me my googie googie. Give me my googie googie. Like he's like making all these crazy Indian goo 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 noises in her face, and she slaps the shit out of him.
Try my googie googie.
Something like that. It's like super over the top.
It's so
Michael was much shittier in season 1. Like he was like,
and he had less hair.
Yeah, they fixed him up with the hair.
And he was fatter. Or
he
chubby.
gets in shape around season 4 when he does the Hangover movies and his career takes off. You can tell that he like gets a nutritionist or some shit. Like he
becomes
gets
a Hollywood star.
And you'll also and all of a sudden instead of eating pancakes or like starting his day with a griddle, you'll see him eating like broccoli salad. Like he's just got like a fort eating whole chunks of broccoli during the show.
I like the episode where, I know I'm just saying Office episodes. I like I'm watching where Michael and Jan have the dinner party, and
that's
Michael's
like, episode.
Yeah, Michael's like talking about his TV, which is like a 15-inch plasma monitor, and he's like, and it goes right into the wall, and it doesn't. It just moves like 2 inches back or 2 inches forward, and he's like, sometimes I'll just stand here and watch TV for hours.
The dinner party episode is like a top tier. That the one with the CPR, those are my favorite episodes. But a lot of people find that to be super cringy. Like they can't sit through it because they're like squirming in their chair watching the awkwardness of the dinner party. What about Scott's Tots? Are you familiar with Scott's Tots?
Scott's Tots is unbelievably uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's for me too. That's
it's still funny. Like I'll sit there and watch it without any trouble, but it's like.
So for those who don't know, Scott's Tots is an episode where Michael Scott apparently 15 years ago promised a kindergarten class that he would pay for their college education on a fucking lark. He thought he would be a successful billionaire because he's insane. And so he was just making a lot of big promises. And so now it's time for these kids, this group of black children, to graduate high school. They're all 17 and 18, and they want Mr. Scott, the philanthropist, to come in and, you know, thank him because, you know, he's paying for all their college. And imagine, it's like 30 kids. It's
millions of dollars.
It's $2 or $3 million easy that he's coming out of pocket for, that he's promised. And they're like, they all have prepared speeches about how he touched their life. One guy's like, I was drawn to the drug game early, but I knew my guardian angel, Mr. Scott, was up there looking out for me. And I couldn't disgrace that. And I stayed to the books. And here I am. One day I'll be the next Barack Obama. And Michael's crying. Like, as one inspirational speech after another. Then like 8 of them do a prepared dance and song number. Like, hey, Mr. Scott, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Make our dreams come true. and Michael's assistant is like dancing and clapping along. He's like, stop! You know this isn't happening. You know none of this is gonna play out well. And
I do like that Michael went to get the adulation. He didn't have to go. Like, he wants the adulation enough that he was willing to put himself through.
If I recall, didn't he offer to buy them laptops, and then he found out the price of that, so he offered to buy them the power supply?
Yeah, laptop batteries.
He goes, now I'm not going to be able to pay for your college, but what does every college student need? A laptop. And he starts reaching into this bag, all these bags he's got. And everybody kind of perks up because the laptop's not chicken feed. And he goes, and what does every laptop need? A battery. And they start, boo, boo. And he goes, wait. And they quiet down a little. He goes, they're lithium. Lithium. And it's later on, that one kid, he's like, do you want an extra battery? Most people didn't take one. It's just so fucked up. Imagine that you thought your college was going to be paid for, and you had that rug pulled out from under you at the last minute.
You know, in a little way though, he saved those kids' lives.
They missed deadlines and shit.
Yeah, but they also like focused on college their entire, you know, for 18 years when otherwise they might not have.
Yeah.
Sure. It was the lie was a blessing, I suppose.
Well, he also saved them from the college campus woke mind virus.
Yes. Oh my God, they would have.
That's where you get it.
Yeah,
that's where you get it.
College campuses.